How's it going today, guys? I wanted to do a short video on pitcher patterns and why you should always try to be recognizing them. If you've watched the plate discipline video that I did earlier, I talk about taking a lot of pitches and some reasons why you want to do that. One of the reasons, obviously, is that you're trying to get a hittable pitch in the middle of the zone. But one of the other reasons is that the more pitches that you see, the more you're able to pick up on patterns as the game goes on. And the more you're able to pick up patterns, the more you're able to try and look for something that you think that you're going to be able to hit in a certain count. So the more pitches you see, let's say you're getting a lot of balls early in the count or strikes early in the count, you're able to see exactly what the pitcher is doing. And when you get to the 7th or 8th inning, you know, all right, this guy wants to throw me first pitch fastball, he's consistently throwing me, let's say, a first pitch changeup. Then when you get to that end of the game, you're sitting on that first pitch changeup and you have the advantage over him. So things like that, when you're able to see throughout the game, if they're doing something in particular, you're able to pick up on that and you have the advantage just based on how many pitches you've seen. Sometimes those give you an offensive advantage, but sometimes even a defensive advantage. I'm not talking about playing defense, but I'm talking about when you're protecting with 2 strikes. You know that this guy wants to throw a wipeout curveball, or he wants to just try to make me swing at something out of the zone, something like that. The more you're able to pick up on those types of patterns, the more you're able to lay off of some pitches sometimes rather than trying to attack a certain pitch. When you're pitching, sometimes people will say don't throw the same pitch a certain number of times in a row, like more than twice in a row or something like that. And you should be paying attention to that. You don't want to keep throwing the same pitch over and over and over, and people are going to see that. But you also don't want to say, all right, I'm going to throw 4 different pitches in a row every time, because they're going to be able to recognize that, okay, they've just thrown 3 of those pitches in a row. Now I'm looking for that 4th pitch. Let's say you've got a fastball, changeup, slider, curveball, and you've thrown 3 of them, and now you're trying to throw the 4th one. If you keep doing that over and over in a game, someone will pay attention to that. They'll say, okay, you just threw curveball, changeup, slider, now you're going to throw fastball. And let's say if you're able to set them up with that at the beginning of the game, you can use that to your advantage and say, all right, instead of throwing that fastball like I did the first 3 times, now I'm going to go back to a slider or something like that. So you can take your patterns and turn them to your advantage as well. So let's say if you've been getting away with some bad pitches early in the game or something like that, and you know it's because you fell into a certain pattern and they were able to pick up on it, and then you can go back and throw a nice pitch that they weren't expecting from before. For me, one pitch I like to throw, this has been pretty effective in years past, but it hasn't been as effective for me this year, mostly because I haven't been able to locate it. But the low and away fastball, after you've thrown some wipeout pitches, those usually get people to strike out looking. So if you can spot it right on the outside corner, that's pretty effective. But like I said, it hasn't been the best pitch for me as it has been in the past. I could get 5 or 6 Ks. Usually that's with guys who lay off the slider away with 2 strikes. But if someone's swinging at every pitch and striking themselves out on bad pitches, you don't want to throw that fastball because they're able to cover it. So yeah, this video is just to help you be a little bit more aware of what you're doing and what your opponent might be doing. For instance, I get stuck sometimes throwing down in the zone too much, and then they'll sit on it and then hit me for 3 or 4 runs in a row before I realize what happened. So for me, it's just trying to pay attention to what I do throughout the game, and maybe that's something that will help you guys be more aware of what's going on throughout the game and your own patterns, not trying to get stuck inside of anything. Because as a pitcher, you're just trying to make the hitter uncomfortable, and if they're figuring out a pattern, it's kind of like tipping your pitches, then they are comfortable and they're just looking for something in particular. But this is just meant to be a conversation starter, so if you guys have some tips that you want to give out, if you've seen certain patterns or gotten into certain patterns that you've recognized, why don't you share them with the group and let's talk about them, because there's so much to be talked about in this topic, and there's not enough information that I can give out on my own. But I think as a group, we probably have enough information to help each other out. So let me know what you guys think, some of those patterns, and we'll talk about that pretty soon. Peace. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like it, hit like and subscribe. If you want to see something new or have a specific part of the game you want help with, be sure to leave a comment and we'll all try to help out. Peace.